participation, repeat after me. It's not fair.
It's not fair.
Okay, now I want you to repeat after me and sound like a 5-year-old. It's not fair.
It's not fair.
Thank you. Now, just so you know, you get to use that voice in church today for the next 3 minutes. Yes. Nearly 1.5 billion people, B with a B, billion, in developing countries live on less than $1.25 a day.
It's not fair.
Okay, some of you got it. 2.5 billion people lack access to proper sanitation.
It's not fair.
That was better. In Latin America, 1 out of every 4 people under the age of 29 is poor or exceedingly poor.
That's not fair.
You guys are so much better at this than the early service. I hope you're having a little bit of fun with it, but I hope you're getting the point too. 23 out of every 1,000 children in Vietnam will die before their 5th birthday.
That's not fair.
51.5% of Americans, this side of the room or this side of the room today, it kind of looks to me, will live in poverty at some point before the age of 55.
It's not fair.
1 in 8 people still go to bed hungry every night.
It's not fair.
Every day, 16,000 children die from hunger-related causes.
It's not fair.
And every year, 2.6 million children under the age of 5 die from fixable, hunger-caused issues.
That's not fair.
It's not even really a question of fairness, is it? Now, I know how some of you are thinking. I know because I'll get emails tomorrow, I guarantee it. I'll hear all of the excuses. While it's true, I will be told, that we grow enough food to feed more than 7 billion people, nearly 3 billion people will go to bed hungry tonight. I know the excuses. Well, just because we can raise it doesn't mean we can get it to them. I know that. I know other excuses that we like to use too. Listen and see if you have ever said anything or heard someone say, because I know you all would never say anything like this. Well, all they have to do is get a job. Don't they know not to have any more children? All they have to do is wash their hands. We know them, don't we? We know all the excuses. We are an excuse-laden world. The politics aren't right. It costs too much. There's not enough. If I give what I have, then someone else will have it, and I won't have enough. All of these excuses. We can't solve all the world's problems. Anyone ever hear that one? Anyone ever say that? We do every day. Whether we verbalize it or not, we say it every day. We say it every day when children die from hunger, and we could feed them. We say it every day when we force our senior citizens to choose whether or not they're going to buy their medicine or pay their rent. We say it every day when we put up these walls that say, "Come and be fed, but only if you're like us." We say it every day when we fail to take the actions that we know could solve the problem. I know the excuse, well, we can't do it all. Actually reminds me of the story about the little boy who was on the ocean beach, and he was walking along, and you know this story probably. He was picking up starfish and throwing them back in the ocean. And this old geezer was watching. And as the kid got closer, and he threw another one in, and he threw another one in, and he finally got close enough the old geezer could actually talk to him and said, "Don't you know, Sonny, that's not going to make any difference in the world." And the little boy picked up the next starfish and said, "But it will make a difference to this one." And he threw it back in. Week of Compassion started 7 decades ago as an idea that people shouldn't starve to death. That when there was a natural disaster like a tornado or a typhoon, an earthquake, or an explosion at a town like West, it started as an idea that in the midst of crisis, the church ought to be there. And we ought to be bringing the food and the water that people are going to need, and helping people get through the tough times of their lives. Because it's no fun to be alone in the tough times of our lives. And it was such a good idea that it began to grow, and it grew into what is, to me, the single most significant offering we ever take at First Christian Church Duncanville. 92% of what you give today will actually end up in the field. It takes about 8% to pay our administration, to print all of our printings, to do all of those kinds of things. You can't find a better run relief organization anywhere in this country. We've showed up 15 times already in 2015. We'll show up at over 100 places by the end of this year, easy. Will we make a difference? Will we feed children who are orphans by virtue of war, civil war in their own countries? Will we provide medical assistance where Ebola is still running rampant? Will we show up the next time in Oklahoma, because it's really only in Oklahoma that they have tornadoes? One of the really cool things that has happened because of Week of Compassion is that in the region, the Oklahoma region of the Christian church, they have created, using Week of Compassion funds and really good training, an emergency response team that can show up within 3 hours anywhere in the state of Oklahoma that there's a tornado. 3 hours. We can be on the ground providing care. I don't know about you, but that's pretty cool to me. That's good use of the money we're going to collect today, isn't it? It's good use of money when we figure out that together we can do so much. Together. When we gather on March 1st to hear V's story, he's going to tell you his story. He's going to tell you some other things that the church is doing. And I'm going to sit out there. Well, actually, I'll probably sit up with him and we're going to have conversation about it so you can hear him. And I'm going to smile. I'm going to smile because First Christian Church, Duncanville, Texas, knows how to respond to Week of Compassion. I'm going to smile because our offering this year will be better than last year. I'm going to smile because you already live lives of love and compassion. This place is special. I tell people that all the time. Week of Compassion matters. Week of Compassion changes people's lives. Week of Compassion brings hope to those who are in the midst of ugly despair. It brings a saving word when people's worlds are crumbling around them. It brings a smile when there's really nothing to smile about. Week of Compassion changes people's lives. And I'm going to tell you the two people it changes their lives. The first person that Week of Compassion changes is the person who receives the aid. If you've ever been the victim of a fire, if you've ever been a victim of a tragedy or turmoil within your home or the midst of a war, you know what it's like to find out that someone cares. And your life has changed. But the truth is, that's not the only person whose life is changed. When you put that check in that envelope that says Week of Compassion, when you sign up to be trained for the Oklahoma response team, when you offer to be a part of a prayer group focusing on the needs of those affected by Ebola, when you become a part of Week of Compassion, not only is the person receiving the aid's life going to be changed, but your lives are going to be changed. Your lives are going to be changed because you're going to be able to be that little boy who says, it may not matter to everyone, but to this one, it matters. This one. Week of compassion. Changing lives. One life, one village, one church, one world at a time. And all God's people said, Amen. Our hymn of invitation today is, I am thine, O